Hi there, thank you for joining me today. I'm Sandra at artypapercrafters.com and my tutorial today is for this little card which I've made as a wreath, and it came about because I found some crafting things that I hadn't used at all recently, and this hardwood stamp set was one of them. It's a big old stamp in there which measures, let me get my ruler, it measures 4.5 inches by 5.5 inches, so it's a big old stamp, and it's perfect for making a wood effect like I've got on my card here. And I thought, well, that reminds me of a cottage door, and what can I do, what can I make? And I thought, I know, cottage door Christmas wreath. So that's how my Christmas card came about. And I'm constantly trying to find ways of using stamp sets in a different way, and I recently made this triple step stamping cards using my Stampin' Misty, and I did a video for this, and I made a red one too, and I showed you all how to make that. If you haven't seen this video, then look for it under Sandra Ronald if you're watching this video. So that's how it came about. Now I'm just going to very quickly show you how to get that wood grain effect, and then we're going to make this card. So let's put all that to one side and bring in the hardwood stamp. Now I've already prepped up a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm doing it on white so that it shows up for you. So with this being a big old stamp, you're going to need quite a large block to mount it onto. So that's my block mounted, and because it's a big old stamp, it's better to take the card to the stamp rather than the other way around, otherwise you get in a right old mess. So let me get my crumb cake. So this is crumb cake, and what we need to do, we need to take the ink to the stamp and give it a good old ink up all over. I think that's good and inked. That out the way, and then you take your card to the ink and press it down firmly, rub your hands all over, and then lift that off, and there we have our wood grain effect. Don't you think that's clever? I certainly do. So that is how I made my wood grain effect. And I made my wood grain effect obviously on a piece of crumb cake, but I just showed you that on the Whisper White so you could see, and I think that's really looks great. So that's how I made that. So now we're going to make our cards. So I've already prepped up a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock. All the measurements for this will be on my blog, with some real red card, my crumb cake, and then a piece of garden green for my sentiment and a Whisper White. And I thought, how can I make a wreath, because I haven't got a stamp set or framelets that cut a wreath out. So I thought, how can I make that? So I got my layering circles dies. You get a lot here. Excuse me, you get a lot here. You've got 8 of the scalloped sizes, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of the circular sizes. So lots of choices in here. So I prepped up the biggest one of the scalloped and the biggest one of the circle, and then I cut out my circle with this size here, and then I cut out the centre of this one using that size there. So that is how I went around making my wreath. So now we're going to get the stamp set that I used, and I thought holly. So where's my, I've prepped up on my block the holly, and so now I'm going to show you how I created that look. So let me get some scratch paper because I don't want to make a mess on my pad. And we're going to use garden green. I should have got this out earlier. Garden green and pear pizzazz I've used to get this look. So we're going to start off with our pear pizzazz. And I just inked the tip part up to start with. So just ink up the tip, and then I've just gone round on the inside first. No, I did the outside first, so let's do the outside. So we go round the outside edges like that. And you can see that you very, very quickly fill that in. Clean off my stamp because we're now going to use the garden green. And the reason I've used the two colours is to get that different light green, dark green effect. And then I've just gone over that with the dark green and filled that in. And you can see that you very, very quickly fill that in, and that looks, I think that looks great. Just maybe go in and do a little bit more. I think that's great. So that's those done. So now let's put our ink away. Actually, while I'm about it, I think I'll stamp the sentiment in the garden green. So I've prepped up on the block Thinking of You at Christmas, and we're going to stamp that in about the middle. Stamp that on about the middle of our piece. Hope it's straight because I can't get my head right over. That's not too bad at all, is it? Not too bad at all. Right then, let's close up all these inks. And we can get rid of the scratch paper now. So we're going to start layering it up. So we start off by, I'll get my Tombow, and we're going to layer this onto our card. Like that, and get our wooden door look. I don't know if it matters which way up is up or which way up is down, or vice versa. And then we're going to just layer our sentiment onto this piece. Perfect. And the same with our little wreath that we've made. that. So now to finish it off, you can see that I have I've put a piece of silver glitter ribbon, and this comes as a duo pack. You get two. This is Sweet Sugar Plum and this is the silver, so I'm using the silver today. And I cut a piece off because I just felt that it added a nice glittery look to my card. So we'll cut that off about here. And then I'm going to get my glue dots. What have I done with my pokey tool? There it is. Work out where is about halfway and stick it down with a glue dot. And then I've put another glue dot underneath it and put that about here, about in the middle, like that, and just trim that end. We might need to trim it a bit more if it works out to be too long with our sentiment. So that's that part done. Put our sentiment on with some dimensionals. Like that. That's it. And then we're going to stick our wreath on with a dimensional. And we'll stick that about there. And then I have got this ribbon in here that is retired, but they did actually put it on special offer recently. I think it's sold out, I'm not sure. If you should be interested, you could go and have a look and see if it's still available. And I thought I'd made myself a bow, but we're just going to make ourselves a little bow here by folding that. Make ourselves a quick little bow. Like that. Cut the ends off. And then sticking that on with a glue dot. Like that. And then I've created what I am going to call my poinsettia flowers made with the petite petal sponge. So I don't seem to have that, so I'm going to get that. And I'm going to cut out 5 today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just going to get my sponge. Let's get this stuff out of the way. And using my paper piercer, it's got an end that's very, very suitable for pushing your flowers up to give them more dimension. And you get a very cute little flower like that. Let me just show you that. Cute little flower. And I think it looks like a a mini poinsettia. I suppose you could put a green one underneath to form the leaves if you wanted to, couldn't you? Right then, so in the centre I have used some enamel Regals. These are the Regals enamel shapes, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You get 10 of these in a pack with 20 on each one in Regals shapes, colours I mean. And I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz colour, I think this is, in the centre of my little flowers. Oops, that's moved. I hope you can see what I'm doing down here. I think you can. So that's those done. And you can see you've got different shapes. You've got small circles, larger circles, hearts and stars. So that sort of gives you a bit more of a choice, doesn't it? So I've just crushed all my flowers now, so we'll pull them up with our fingers. Right, let's get our glue dots and stick those onto our card. So one there. And now I've got to work out how I'm going to fit 5 on here. We're going to have one there. Whoops. And one here. One here. And one here. And then with our fingers we're going to pull those back up. Pull those back up to give them some dimension again, like they had before I squashed them down. So that's looking pretty. That's supposed to be our poinsettias, and then we need some holly berries. So I'm now going to use these red ones, and they are going to be put in as my little holly berries on my holly. And I think that's starting to look good now. Oh yes, I know, we need to finish it off. I've put little hearts on here, but I've run out of hearts, red hearts anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put green stars, maybe? Christmas stars, that's it, stars, Christmas stars. Going to put one here and one here, and that finishes that off nicely, I think. So that's my card. That ribbon bow doesn't look too great. I'll have a play with that before I take the photos, make that look prettier than it does. I think I've right, enough playing, Sandra. So that's my project for today. If you would like all the measurements, click on that little down arrow bar, and that will take you over to my project details where you can see all the sizes. Looking at it, I think that I actually prefer that one with the 5 poinsettias. So that's all from me today, and until the next time, it's a bye from me. Bye.